Hi, my name's Claire Chancellor, and today I'd like to share with you my own personal story about how I got into tarot reading, mediumship, coaching, hypnotherapy, and so on and so forth. Now, it's been a 20-year goal to be able to put this course together, the Enhance Your Intuition with Tarot. It has been something that I have been planning and dreaming about, wanting to be able to share some phenomenal insights into the tarot that need to be shared with the world. In that journey, it's taken me some time to raise my confidence, be okay to be on camera, know how to deliver this information. So it's not been for a lack of wanting, it's just been my intuition pulling me forward, and I had to, sort out some things that were holding me back to be able to be here with you right now. So this has been the hardest video to put together. I've just finished putting together 101 videos within the Enhance Your Intuition with Tarot, put together the website, all of that's all me. No VAs, nobody else getting involved. This is just pure Claire wanting to share a high level standard of content when it comes to enhancing your intuition and connecting to the tarot. So my story, where do I begin? I'd love to begin by telling you all of the success stories, being on stage, reading for tens of thousands of people all over the world, but that's not where the story starts, right? The fool's journey within the tarot always starts with a dream, an inspiration, and yet a level of immaturity in not really knowing how to step off that cliff, take a risk, and just soar. So thinking about the beginning of my journey, I have always been connected to spirit. Being little, I would just know that my invisible friends were around me and they were there to play with me, and to, whether it's in the sandpit or playing Barbies, they were always there. And when I was little, I'd be able to tell Mum, Nana's about to ring, and sure enough the phone would call, and it was Nana. Now she's in the spirit world and she calls in a completely different way. So it was a surprise to me to learn at school level that other people can't see spirit. I was like, how do you guys function without your guides? And I guess throughout the teenage years my gifts started to grow and expand, but it became a little bit scary. There were some fearful things like spirits following me or hanging out outside my bedroom window. And they were there because they wanted to help me build an awareness on how to connect with spirits, to be able to be out there and share their story with other people. But as a 12-year-old little girl, having some sort of ghostly looking, grey, invisible sort of spirit, not invisible, but you know what I mean, shadowy kind of man there, it'd be like, what do I do with this? And my family didn't understand it. Electrical devices would go on and off throughout the night. Watches would go backwards on me. I could tell you some really fun stories on that stuff, but it was my normal, but nobody else understood it. And I think when it came to teenage years, there was a part of me that kind of dialed it down. I didn't cope very well having it dialed down, but it was a way to be human and experience the everyday life. So when I became a young mum, I had Lily when I was 19, so I was a young mum. That's when my anxiety went absolutely through the roof. I was just so tired, so overwhelmed, so just caught in a mental loop, and I just craved to have that spiritual soul guidance sort of connection again. And so it was that calling, that intuitive desire to check out some crystal shops, to check out the fun bookstores. And every time I would go in, the fragrance of the incense and the crystal energy and the books and the people speaking my language, oh, it was like coming home. It was amazing. Getting all choked up. And so it was it was in that moment where I started to magnetically get pulled towards the tarot cards. Now, seeing the tarot cards on the shelf, they looked like royalty to me. I could not pick them up. I didn't want to touch them. I wanted just to stand back and respect their magnificence. I don't know what I was thinking, but there was a reverence within their energy that was just like, you're drawing me to you, but I don't understand why. And so when a friend suggested, yeah, pick them up, play with them, oh, this is a spiritual orgasm. I was so excited. The cards started to show themselves. Secrets and wisdom became obvious to me. The energy was so exciting. It was just like, oh my gosh. And I felt myself leave my body and go and play in other past lives. It was like, wow, this is how I know you. And the guides, the characters were familiar. They did talk to me in a language I could understand, and I just leaned into their magnificence. It was amazing. And so with that, I was introduced to Kate. Kate was an amazing tarot teacher who welcomed me into her home, tea and bickies in the china, and she had all of the boards of the big tarot cards so that we would go graciously one card after another. I was like a bull at a gate. I had 101 questions. Give it to me. I want it now. But Kate knew how to hold the space and to teach me one important lesson after another. Now, to share a funny story with you, when we got to the Tower card, this card came up and, and Kate said, all you really have to remember is this means impending shitstorm. And, you know, the tea sort of spat out of my mouth because she was not somebody who swore, but the emphasis on that Tower card really nailed it, right? If you know anything about tarot, the Tower card, it really means about how the rug gets pulled out from underneath you, assessing your ego, a spiritual awakening, spirit involved, major arcana. Like, we kind of pretend like we don't see that card when it comes up in a reading because it's just like a big red flag. But that was my experience with Kate and her amazing ability to help me fall in love with the cards at a deeper level, which is something that I hope and I intend on delivering to you, that sparkle, that magic, that insight. And so as my heart was soaring open with the possibility, I remember coming home to some family members who were really quick to judge, oh, what would people think of me if I learnt tarot? And I heard that come out of their mouth. The judgment, the disdain, the disrespect, the woo-woo. I hate that word. And it was just, I had to go back to being a human and the adult responsibilities and the anxiety and the being, you know, getting everything done for everybody else. It was just like, oh. And it took some sparkle out of it. It kicked me in the guts. It took me a long time to recover. Because of course that's just the tip of the iceberg with the judgment, right? There was a lot of past life regression to go and clear that, and and eventually I decided to discover more about mediumship. Spirit was still around and I could connect in with them. Mediumship was what got me on stage, and I was also invited to bring my tarot cards on stage. So it was amazing to be able to have that connection and that combination between mediumship and tarot. But it drew a line in the sand. I remember that it wasn't uplifting for me to bring forward somebody's grief. And yeah, spirit can be cheeky and mediumship can be wonderful and uplifting, but it wasn't enough for me to just bring forward someone's grief. Like, your husband has committed suicide, he's coming forward, he's saying sorry. And it was like, what do I do with this? So that's when I learned about holistic counseling. That's when I learned about Reiki. That's when I learned about theta healing. And so when I was being a mum, attracting in other mums who were connected into spirit, I could see that they were keen to have another baby. I could see that there was another baby there waiting in the queue to incarnate, and yet there was an energy block within my understanding of energy with Reiki and things. I could see that there was something that had happened to the mum a lot younger, where she had made a limiting decision to say, I will never ever have another dad in the house. Not another baby, but another dad in the house. And it was this unconscious sort of power that was stopping her from being able to allow that little one to incarnate. And so having all of these pieces of the puzzle, it's like, where are the tools? How do I clear that limiting decision so that this little one can come in? Because it is wanted, it is desired, it is adored, and it's not even here yet. And that is when I learned about hypnotherapy to be able to clear away limiting decisions. It is when I learned about NLP and how to help somebody create their level of success by their standards. From NLP, I could still bring in the tarot because it was all based on self-development, creating success. And from there, I took NLP right up to trainer's level, where I get to teach people NLP, how to raise their consciousness, how to create an empowered life. And the tarot, for me, still fit in with that. I believe that the tarot is the ultimate self-development tool and ultimate personal development tool. And so the tarot was able to give people insight into what was holding them back. What was the limitations? What past life did that come from? What is the potential of success if they get out of their own way? And so that's where the tarot always comes into every other tool that I add to my toolkit. It is absolutely phenomenal what comes forward in a tarot reading. So that is about my story. I get the honor to connect in and help millions of people, not millions, I was thinking about the picture of the world then, millions of people, but I get to work with thousands, tens of thousands of people all over the world to connect into that soul's spiritual evolution, to remember their magnificence, to remember their purpose, to be their purpose. And it's so uplifting. I can feel all my guides coming forward as I got full body tingles, and I know that there is a really strong connection between them, me, and you. So I hope you've enjoyed my story. I hope it helps you empower yourself to step forward with your spiritual evolution, raise your consciousness, get into that magnificent, manifesting, yummy, intuitive energy. I'm Claire Chancellor from Be Your Purpose Coaching, and I will talk to you later.